Right, okay. We will start the session without waiting much time. So now we have already waited 30 minutes. So I told you last week that we will discuss some questions related to what we have discussed so far. Because from this session onwards, we will be having more practical discussions, more practical scenarios, so that before going to the practical applications, we need to have a better understanding of what we have discussed so far, right? So that I will give you a simple questions to try it. So these would be the types of questions that you will be getting at the exam as well, right? So that please just try it. Just go through your notes, go through what you have written down, and try to structure or else articulate an answer for these questions. Right? You go like 4 to 5 questions. We can start from the first one. But this is simple. But the thing is, you need to understand what these questions are asking. So, the first one, differentiate between marketing orientation and selling orientation by briefly discussing the starting points, focus, means, and aims. Then, can you please write the first question? So, don't want to write the question. I will give these things and I will upload this file in place. So, then just try to find an answer for this one. So now we don't use ChatGPT or anything, just try what you have learned. Try to answer from what you have learned. I'll give you like 5 to 6 minutes or two. You online people, I hope you can hear me. You can try the question one. These are like the test of what we have discussed so far. If you have anything to ask, you can ask. Finished? I'm still trying. And I will explain you about the assignment as well next week, in the next session. The coming after a few days, we have sent last few days. How about you, Raj? Yeah, not sure. This is your first time? No. Second. And we are just discussing whether you have touched these areas. We're discussing some questions from what we have discussed so far. Okay, let's discuss the first one. Can any of you please share your answers? What does marketing orientation means? What is it all about? So customer focus. Sorry? Customer focus. Yes. Then selling orientation. Products. Sorry. Product program. Sorry.
Trying to sell their product.
Yeah, yes. Right. So their product in then it comes like defining or explaining this concept, that's fine. As the market orientation, we focus about customers. Then you need to mention that like satisfying customers' needs and wants while achieving organization goals and objectives, right? There is a starting point where companies discussed or companies targeted to satisfy both customers and the organization, right? Then at the selling orientation, they assume that people will buy the product if only the company is undertaking heavy number of promotion activities, right? That is the basic idea behind these two concepts. So where do these two concepts are starting? So where does the marketing orientation start? Where does it start? In this type of question, I'm not asking the country or like the time period. I'm just asking where they focus first. Human needs. Yes, that is mainly about human needs or customers' needs and wants. Right, that is their starting point. Then what's the starting point of selling orientation? Yes, exactly. That is all about maximizing their sales or concerning only about the the campaign objectives, right? So then, when it comes to their focus as well, they always try to focus on customers' needs and wants and the marketing orientation, right? Then, selling orientation, they focus to do heavy promotion to sell what they have, right? And their means like always focus about customer satisfaction and the selling orientation, they focus about selling what you have, like you exactly mentioned. So the marketing orientation ends by satisfying both customer and organization objectives. But the selling orientation ends by only satisfying the organizational objectives or else by selling what they have. Right? That is the basic difference that we can see between the two concepts. Right? And the second one, using a company of your choice, explain how the selected company can increase its customer delivered value. Can you please try it using an example? Can you remember what customer delivered value means? What is included by the customer delivered value? Actually, why I am discussing these questions. So, at your exam, is there any requirement like the minimum marks that you need to obtain for paper? Is it 40? I don't know. Right. There are some students who cannot score even 40 marks for these simple questions. So that that's better to try these. Right. Or please try the next question. Using company of your choice, explain how it can increase the customer delivered value. Then in these type of questions, you need to first discuss what customer delivered value means. And thereafter only you can start discussing this related to an example. That's why I'm always asking examples related to some of the concepts that we are discussing. When we are keeping those examples in our mind, it's easy for us to keep the concepts also in our mind. Do you have the AC remote? Has anyone put it into their bag? Currently, our bag is lying on hand. It's not there. Hello, money. Money, I'm not sure for it's not. AC की remote थी, तो बाहर नहीं पता है ना उनसे. हाँ, छोटा बड़ा. Right, okay, yeah. What is customer delivered value? What is customer delivered value? This. What's the dollar called? This. That is a total customer benefits. Total customer benefits. The difference between the total customer benefits and the total customer cost. Right. So, first you need to mention that when you are getting a question of that nature, always providing a brief definition of what is asked at the exam, what is asked at the paper is advisable, right? Though it is not asked directly, right? Normally, the question paper you will not be asked to define, give the definition, those things won't be there, but it's better to give a brief definition of the concept. Then it shows that you have a basic understanding about these concepts, right? Then, what are the things included for the customer benefits? Yes, what are the different types of benefits included in the customer benefits? Yes. Sorry. What are those? No, just tell me the 4 types of benefits. First, images, service, product, person, right? Then you need to select a company, right, or else a product related to that, and you need to discuss how they can increase their product benefits, service benefit, personal benefit, and the image benefit. Let's say that's a hotel. First, one example you have selected. Is it the mobile phone treatment that I have discussed with you? Huh? First example you have selected. Oh, sorry. Let's say that is okay, we'll take this one. Right? Otherwise, see you curious. So how can a campaign like this increase the customer benefit? Different benefit. Let's come to this product one. How can they do it? Sorry. Yes. Let's say that is a full cream in powder or anything else that they are like releasing to the market. They can maintain those quality standards in case, right? And then they will be able to increase the product benefit, right? Which they can give for the customers. Then how can they increase the service fee? Service benefit. Yes. Okay. Sorry. After sales service, do we have? Okay. But for a company like Nestle, they cannot do these savings directly, can they? Can Nestle sell their products to end consumer directly? No, they cannot. Then how can they increase the service fee? Yes, sometimes they can increase their distribution channels, but it is a one way of reducing the cost as well. Right? And let's say like if they can give let's say all the information about like the different ingredients they have used, right? Which would be important for the customers to know, right? It would be one way of increasing their service benefit. And how can they increase the personal benefit? Personal benefit. How can they do it? This health benefits from using those products. That is like communicating health benefits, is it? Yeah. Then it comes more towards sorry? Not communicating, like giving the quality product. So the physical things of humans can be. You means giving quality products for the customers, is it? Yeah. Okay. That's more towards improving their health. No, but on the personal benefit, we normally discuss how, let's say, those salespeople or the people involved in selling those products, how they can support the customers. But that is not the benefit that end consumers can get. There's anyway a benefit, but that is not something like we explain, right? So, like what we explained will more towards come on the product. So how would they improve their percentage? Yes, how is it possible for a company like that? Yes, through promotion, what can they do? Is it like making customers aware? Is it how about like let's say like Nestle or any other company can make sure or can inform their retailers. Or Nestle or like any company of that nature can inform their retailers, let's say like their sales assistants or sales staff working at different retail outlets to support the consumers by like if customers need any information, if customers are unable to find their products, right? They can inform those retailers to support end consumers. Or else they can assign a dedicated person for some of the products, let's say like when it comes to these cosmetic items, some dedicated persons from their companies are available at supermarkets sometimes. Like maybe people from Unilever at supermarkets sometimes, like to promote maybe that maybe to promote their product, but by promoting their product, they can support consumers to know what customers want. Right. Then image benefit, how can they maintain or improve their image benefit? Yes, how is it possible? It's mainly through continuous quality service that they can provide, they can improve the engagement. That is because that is not something that they can achieve within a day or as within a shorter period of time. They have to work hard, they have to deliver a superior quality for the customers. Then only they can, let's say, achieve their engagement. Then how can they reduce the different cost factors? What are the different cost factors associated with this one? Here the many cost, textile cost, what else? You miss the main one. Yes, I cost still you have missed the main one. Yes, this monetary cost. It has become just anything because they are not selling free of charge items, right? We definitely have to pay money to buy their products, right? So monetary cost, how can they reduce? It's like more towards going into the market standard rates, and that would be one option that they can go with. And if the government is like imposing this minimum price or maximum price levels, the price limitations, they have to adhere to those rules and regulations. The customers might feel that they are charging high price, right? Material cost. Otherwise, they can like reduce their prices like from 50%, 60%. That is not going to be possible, and that is not going to be practical. Right? If it is to be practical, it has to align with what is in the market, or it's going with the market rates, with the competitors' rates, competitors' prices, right? They have to do those things to show that they are charging a less price for the customers, right? So how can they reduce the energy cost of the customers? Energy cost. Yes, how can they do it? Sorry. Door delivery. Okay. Door delivery. Yes. Or else making the products available at convenient places where customers can purchase. And if it is possible, they can arrange these deliveries as well. Right. And time cost, that is again, customers should not waste time to find maybe their product or maybe the information they want. Right. The psychic cost or the psychological cost, which is coming from the society or which is coming from our peers, right? So for that, our peers should not have experienced something bad. So to happen that one, they have to have given a great or a better service or better solution, a better product for the other customers as well. Then only they will share their experience with the others positively. Otherwise, if other customers have something negative, it might lead to increase the psychological cost of the customers. So that is how actually you need to discuss those examples. Right? Just try to select a simple one, an easy one, and it's always better to go with something like FMCG or like electronic items, right? Rather than going for a complex product. Because for the selection of the product, you will not be getting marks. So you will be getting marks only for the application or only for the discussion that you are doing at the field. Right. So we'll discuss another one question only and go for the today's session. The third one is something easy. One. For these things we haven't discussed yet. But how about the fourth one? Fourth question. Don't want to write these questions. I will give these things to you. So that please try the answer. Can you see this things? Analyzing the marketing environment can bring benefits to any organization. Considering Sri Lanka's current situation, explain 4 trends in macro environmental forces and how these trends can present opportunities or threats for the business organizations in Sri Lanka. That is a question from the environmental analysis. Then in the environmental analysis, we have 2 main analyses, the micro, 2 main areas, the micro and the macro. So this is asking from the macro perspective. It's simple, you need to select 4 trends in the macro environment. There are different forces in the macro environment, right? Like demographic, natural, technological, cultural, different trends are there. Then I'm not asking you to go for 4 macro variables. If it is from 4 variables, that's fine. Or else, and from 1 variable, you can discuss 4 trends. That's also fine. Because I have specially asked you to discuss it using under 1 macro variable. Right? Just please, let's try this one for the last time and we'll go over the session today. Yes, what are the different trends you have identified? You have mentioned what are those? It's one trend. One thing we have identified is social culture. Okay. What is the trend you under that one? Work from home. How does it come under social cultural environment? More people motivation. So is it because of this social cultural or technological environment?
Technology also come in other ways, like uh, the married ladies may, the people who are already married and stop their career up in the town, okay, maybe from villages or just other things due to their religious and other reasons and cultural reasons. Okay. So now they have more options to work through using technology to work at the big companies from BPOs, foreign companies, and earn more.
Okay, that's right. That's right. In that way, that's okay. And that everything depends on how you justify things. In these types of questions, there are no right and wrong answers, right? Based on your justification, you will be getting answers. Because these are like, uh, let's say the answer for 1 plus 1, it has to be 2 from everyone, right? But so you will be getting marks based on how you justify the things you have written. Yes, anything else? Any other trend you identified? There hasn't been a threat or opportunity for this organization, but you have explained.
Yeah, both.
Yes, exactly.
The opportunities, they don't need to capitalize more, spend more on the equipments and the facilities for the employees. So already they have personal computers and everything at home.
Yes.
Also, the salary will be lower than the person who are working in their office.
Yes.
So there will be a low cost. And the threat is there is no connection between the employees, and so they will never get a whole idea about what they are working or how big the company is.
Yes.
How the management works. They don't know anything. They only part.
So sometimes this online part also would be bit difficult. Some cases. Yes, that's correct. Anything else? Any other trend you have identified? Yes. No. You don't like no trends. They mind. What about you? No. Anything else? Yes. Okay. Yes.
Development of various technologies.
Okay.
Opportunities to easy to access international markets. And there is about having skilled labor who operate.
Yeah. And on the other hand, due to this technological improvements, new players might come to our markets, right? So that our competition might be high, right? Compared to what we had in the past. Yes. Anything else? This how what you do? No? So don't try to fail the subject, right? Please try to pass the subject. That's why I'm like discussing these questions. Because I can just finish these sessions and teach the classes. So I don't want anyone to fail the subject. Yes. Anything else? Any trend? No? But there are some things I also have discussed. We have like increased aging population in the country. So it would be nice to put it, and I have discussed some examples as well. And even our women workforce is increasing compared to past. And on the other hand, is the male workforce is decreasing, or the number of males working, especially at white collar jobs. Right? There is going down. The number is going down. Right? Uh, and now people are more towards moving to these urbanized areas, as well as people are very much concerned about this environment now compared to the past. Now we have a huge trend towards these green products, sustainable products, ecological products, environmental products. the different names, you can see the same things, right? So for the companies, which are selling those types of products, they will have nice markers in the future, right? Uh, those are some of the trends that we can experience in the markets now. So those things you need to discuss. You need to discuss how it can be a trend for the companies or some of the companies, while how it can be a threat for the other company. Okay, those are like a few questions that I need to discuss with you, and I will not discuss more since we won't have enough time to discuss our today's session. I will have those types of discussions whenever we have enough time. And we'll go for the today's discussion. That is all about consumer market and buyer behavior. Right? So here, what we are going to discuss is how consumers behave in the market and how they are making consumer decisions related to what they are purchasing at the market, and how we are going to understand what customers are. Sorry, we are going to discuss how customers are making decisions, right, at the marketplace when they are coming to purchase some of the products, then they need to buy. Right, that will be our main discussion throughout this session. And this is going to be very much critical, I would say. And here we will be discussing what we are doing at the marketplace as consumers. Then you will have many things to add for these discussions. So these would be our learning outcomes. To define consumer market and construct a simple model to name different factors influence consumer buyer behavior, and to list and define the major types of buyer decision behaviors, the stages in the buyer decision process, and the digital consumer behaviors. This would be our main discussion. So, why should we understand about the consumers in the market? Why? If you are running a business, let's say we are running our own business. So, why should we understand about the customers in the marketplace? Yes, that is one thing. According to how customers behave in the marketplace, we can introduce different products. What else? What else? Why we should understand about these customers? Is it something necessary? Yes, anyway, it is necessary. That is why we are discussing. Then why has that necessity come?
Making decisions.
Yes, maybe to make some innovative decisions depending on the customer's behavior again. And the customers in this marketplace, this is all about the human factors, right? So that is a complex behavior from one customer to another. How they behave in the marketplace can totally differ. Let's take these 12 or 13 people we have here, right? You may have 13 different behaviors at the marketplace. Maybe what you are buying, how you are buying, the places you are buying, right? The quantities you are buying, that everything can differ from one person to another. So then this is a complex process, or as how the consumers are purchasing their products at the marketplace is a complex process for the companies to understand. That is mainly because from one person to another, how they behave at the marketplace is totally different. And for their consumption patterns, different factors might be affected. Sometimes our culture, sometimes our financial conditions, sometimes our family background, sometimes what we are doing as our job. Right? So that everything might affect for our consumption decisions. So that as marketeers or as organizations, we should understand who these customers are or what are the different factors affecting on their consumption patterns. So based on that, we need to decide what we should offer to the marketplace, how we should price our products, and how we should do our deliveries for our products, and even how we should communicate about our product for the customers. Because sometimes the same product, right, about the same product, the company might have to communicate via different methods depending on the different markets or different customers that they are targeting or that they are selling. Right? If a company is focusing very much on this youth or young market, they can more towards move to the social media or the digital marketing programs. But if the same product is being sold to these adults or the people who have no access to those facilities, they can still go for the traditional media like radio, television, newspapers to promote their product. Right? So that understanding these customers' behavior is very much important. And when it comes to this consumer behavior, that is not all about how consumers buy it. And that is about how consumers find information about our products and how they buy, how they use, and even how they dispose the product after they consume. Right? That everything has to be understood by the consumer, by the companies. Then only they can do their marketing activities properly. Otherwise, if we are just finishing understanding about our customers after the stage of their consumption, it will not work best for us. Right? So the consumer buyer behavior, the buying behavior of final consumers, individuals and households that buy goods and services for personal consumption. So that is something again important from this session. We will be discussing, as I told you previously, we will be discussing only how the individual or the household consumption, or else how these end consumers make their decisions, right? Because in the market we have individual consumers and business consumers. But let's say we as consumers, we become these individual consumers. We buy maybe for our consumption or maybe for our family members' consumption. But let's take some of the organizations like this institute or maybe different universities, these banks, they might be buying some of the products, not for the consumption of the bank, university, or this institute, but for the consumption of the people who are coming there. Let's take this screens, this laptop, this desktop and everything. So this institute has bought it, but that is consumed, that is used by us. Right? That's the nature of this business consumers. So we are not business consumers, we are end consumers. We are buying the products for our consumption, or maybe our peers' consumption, or maybe for our family's consumption. And the consumer market, that is all the individuals and households that buy goods and services for personal consumption. Same thing that I depicted. So now I will go for a video to show you the different types of consumers. Right? I told you at the beginning that the customers do show a complex characteristics when it comes to their market behavior. Right? They have different characteristics. They may be behaving differently. Right? So let's look at this one first. You may have seen this one somewhere. just forget about the story, but see how different people behave, right? There is just a simple idea of how complex to understand these people or these consumers' behavior, right? So in consumer behavior, we use this model. Just give me 1 second. Right. So we call this as the stimulus response model. Right? We call this as the stimulus response model, and in consumer behavior, we assume that this is the basic or the normal way that a consumer might follow when they are going to purchase something that they need to buy. Right? For that, we have first the different stimuli that we are getting from this environment or else from where they are living. Right? The first types of stimuli are these marketing stimuli, the product, price, place, and the promotion. The product is itself sometimes might motivate people to buy the products, right? Or maybe the price levels might motivate. That is why sometimes we go after these discounts or let's go after these sales, right? And sometimes the distribution techniques that the companies are following might promote us to buy different products and even the promotion, right? So when we get exposed to some of the communication methods and promotion activities that the companies are doing, we sometimes might let's say decide or might go for buying some of the products. So on the other hand, we have other stimuli factors as well. Like I explained you, our economic condition, then our the technological environment, the social environment where we are living, the cultural pressure we have. Sometimes though we want to eat something, due to our cultural pressure, we may not eat some of the products available in the marketplace. Right? So that is how the consumers get stimulated when they go for buying the products available in the marketplace. And once people get exposed to this stimuli, we call that they are going through something called black box. Right? This is something actually we cannot see. This is something which happens internally in consumers' mind. Right? So based on the information they are getting, based on what they have experienced, based on what they have heard, maybe based on their family pressure, based on their under different conditions, they might be going through a huge process when they are going to purchase. Just focus about or just think about your consumption situations, your buying patterns you have experienced in the past, right? So different factors might have affected for your consumption pattern. That could be even a simple shirt, t-shirt, a denim, right? That we are wearing, right? Or maybe a complex or high price product, like maybe high priced mobile phone, a laptop, maybe your vehicle, right? So different factors might have effect. And that process or how consumers make decisions is something actually that we cannot see. But there are some ways of how we can assume uh, that this is the way that customers are following, that customers might be following when they are going to make their consumption decisions. And we will be discussing those processes as well throughout these sessions. And once they go through these backbones, we can see the responses of the buyers. It may not be an actual consumption or it may not be an actual purchasing situation. Sometimes it could be a buying attitude or maybe a positive attitude towards the product. Right? They may not still be buying, but they may have an attitude of buying. And maybe a purchase behavior, what to buy, where to buy, when to buy, how much to buy, right? Those things might be their final decisions. And even the different brands that they will be looking for the companies that they will be looking for the different relationships that they need to maintain with the company, right? These would be some of the outcomes that customers show when they go through this process. Right? Now just think about your buying situations, your actual experience. Now think of how you are moving to different brands available in the market, or how you are moving to different products available in the market. Right? Though something is very much affordable, though something is very much quality now, sometimes we may not be going to buy those products. That is because they are not providing a better service for us. Right? And there can be some situations where we sometimes do not consider this anything. Right? We may not consider about our economic condition, our occupation, our cultural background, our social background, right? Irrespective of that anything, we might be questioning something. That is why, irrespective of the social class that people were having, people used to stay used when they did not have wealth. Right? When we had that crisis, irrespective of the social class, irrespective of the income that people were having, they had to stay at Kings, right? Then though they had a good economic condition, they did not get the first place at the King. So that is how these factors are affecting for our consumption patterns. And we cannot say that always our economic condition is the thing. Sometimes, depending on the availability of the products and the services in the marketplace, our economic condition may not be, maybe either a vital factor or not. Right? Market එකේ products හිඟ වෙලාවට අපි කොච්චර salary එකක් ගත්තත් අපි කොච්චර economic condition එකක් තිබ්බත් අපිට ඒක වැඩක් නෙවෙයි. අපේ accessibility එකේ product එක ගන්න, එහෙම නැත්නම් අපේ product එක reach කරන්න පුළුවන් විදිහට තමයි අපිට ඒක purchase කරන්න පුළුවන් නැති කියන එක තියෙන්නේ. ඒකයි අපි සල්ලි තියන අය නැති අය social class ලොකු social class වල අය රිවිල් පදින අය බොහොම අඩු social class වල මිනිස්සු බයික් එකක් විතර තියෙන මිනිස්සු හැමෝම එකම වාහන quality එකකින් ඒගොල්ලෝ තෙලවන්නේ. So these factors sometimes might be affecting as well as sometimes may not be affecting. So that is the nature of this stimulus response model. So this is just a model to predict or to understand how customers would make some of the consumption decisions that they are making when they are buying the products and services in the market. So I will discuss this after the break. We have a short break now for about, now the time is 9:45. Please come by 10. Right? We'll meet at 10.
இவர் நெரிசல் சொல்லி போன தடவை மாட்டி கையால் சொல்லிட்டாரு கையை வச்சுட்டான் மணி கூட காலைல வந்து என்ன ஸ்டோரி இவரு சமாளிக்கணும்னு சொன்னா நாய் கடிச்சது யாரும் வச்சு இவன் ஒண்ணும் சொல்லவே இல்லை நாய் கடிச்சு Everyone have the benefit that small leader. I don't know that.
Right, okay. So we were discussing about this stimulus response model. And after that, these are the different characteristics that I was explaining to you as factors affecting on the consumer behavior. Right? So the first one is the cultural factors, then the social factors, personal factors, and the psychological factors. Right? So these would be some of the factors affecting on our consumption behavior. So I'll be discussing these one by one. right? The cultural factors, right? So basically, the culture means the different norms, beliefs, right? The different practices, the rituals that we follow when we live in a society. So in this culture, we have three different factors. The main thing is the culture itself, then the subculture, and the social class. So I will use the whiteboard. So I told you the culture consists with the three things: the culture itself, then subculture, and the social class, right? Culture itself, the subculture, and the social class. So if we take this circle, right, and if we consider this as the culture, so within this culture we can have different subcultures, right? So within this culture we can have different subcultures, and let's say this circle is Sri Lanka as a country. So Sri Lanka as a country can have one main culture, or else a one region, a one country, a one province can have a one main culture. And within that region, country, or the province, we can have different subcultures. These are subcultures. Let's say in Western province, Southern province, Jaffna, or in different districts, we can have different subcultures, right? So subcultures means the different parts of the main culture. Or even this Colombo, within this Colombo district, in different regions, we can have different subcultural practices, right? So these culture, subculture, and social class, everything affects on our consumption. I hope you can remember that the Indian people example, which this McDonald's had to face when they were initially coming to the Indian market. So it was totally rejected by the Indian market. And that is a reason of this cultural behavior of the consumers. So as a solution for that, the McDonald's had to come up with a solution which is a veggie burger, which was matching to the Indian market. So when it comes to subculture, I hope you can remember that slippers example that I shared with you. I will repeat it again. One slippers manufacturing company, a small one actually. One of my students again, he had performed well in some of the parts in the country Sri Lanka, but when he was moving to Kaparagama to sell his slippers, it was rejected by these Kaparagama people. The reason was that as the logo, he had used a peacock. The peacock is considered to be the vehicle of the Kaparagama court, so that it was rejected by the people in Kaparagama. So that is an influence of the subculture on particularly. Right? That is how this culture and subculture affects on the consumers. And even this social class can affect or can decide what we are consuming. The social class might be depending on different factors. Maybe depending on our education, or maybe our occupation, or maybe from our economic condition, right? Depending on different factors, we can have different social classes in the same society. Upper social class people, middle social class people, or even lower social class people. So these social class or the people in these different social classes can have different consumption patterns. Maybe the upper social class people might be trying to maintain their status, which is aligned with the same social class people. So then we might be going for some branded items, maybe some luxury vehicles, some luxury apartments, and to some luxury hotels when they need to go for a meal with their friends, right? They might be having that sort of a behavior. And when it comes to these middle social class people or the middle class people, they may be trying to maintain their middle level. Maybe if they cannot go for well branded or high branded products, they might be trying to go for some of the low, let's say, uh, middle price level branded items to match with their social class. I will tell you an example in USA, I guess, when they're experiencing an economic crisis a long time ago, actually, the people could not afford branded vehicles or the high branded, high price items, right? But still, people needed to maintain their high social class level. So the US market identified this one, there is market here, so these companies identified this one. So as a solution, what US did was they introduced some branded coffee shops for the people or the some recognized premium level coffee shops in all the places so that those high social class people could go for those places to show that they are in the high social class, though they cannot afford luxury vehicles since they were in the economic crisis. Right? So it could be a one way of maintaining the social class. And when it comes to the social class, how people consume different items can differ. Let's take this a credit card. Your use is respect to the social class. But how we make the settlements can differ based on our social class because this social class might be depending on our economic condition. People who have high wealth, right, or as a good economic condition, they may not be going for installment cases. They might be settling the credit card advance once they get the salary of their income. But people from lower social class or middle social class, they might be taking some signs, maybe installment basis, 3 to 4 months, even annual payment with annual basis payments they might be using to settle their credit cards. The same product might be used by different people in different social class different. Like that is how these things can affect for our consumption patterns. Maybe the people here might be consuming the same product differently. Some people might be buying an Apple phone by paying the whole amount at once. So at the same time, other people might be using their credit card, right? Or maybe they might be using other different apps like Coco, different applications to pay their installments, right? That is depending on whatever economic condition that they are having right now, right? But still the same product is being used by everyone. Right? So that is how this social class can affect on our consumption. So now we discuss how the culture can affect on our consumption pattern. The main culture itself, then subculture, to the social class. So an example from your end, how this culture, subculture, social class has affected either your consumption behavior or any marketing application that you have seen. Yes. Anything that you have seen? how this culture has changed, some companies' marketing applications, or how some culture has changed, companies' marketing applications. I think I have shared those, how these fast food companies have introduced some local flavored products in Sri Lankan market. That is mainly based on the culture we have in our country. Otherwise, initially when McDonald's was offering their products, they did not have rice as an option or fried rice as an option. But now they're offering it. Even pizza, I don't think the KFC they have, but that is mainly to align with the Sri Lankan culture. They know that the Sri Lankans are willing to have rice as one of their meals, one of their main meals. That's why they have introduced those items into their menus. Right? Anything else? Any example? Yes. For an example, related to this culture meaning. Yes. You know example. Just how about you? You since you absent, you may because I could see since the morning you are like smiling, or you are having that chit-chats. Do you have anything to share or do you have anything, any problem with what I am teaching? Yes. The example when yes, please. Culture we have so many. We should have. I will show you one video. Whether it is available in the YouTube. See? Sorry, it's in my laptop. Please, let me show you. Till then, please try to find some examples for this one. How culture and subculture, social class have been followed by the companies to change their marketing activities. Just watch this one. There was something with 8 number which Chinese are believing, right? So they believe that the number 8 gives the prosperity for them. So that HSBC with the Chinese market with 8% of interest rate for the savings that people are making. So it was one successful campaign which HSBC had in China. Just again the example of that. Clear this culture or any of your example, any of your experience. Yes. Yes. Yes.
But high income learners that are using their mobile services. That but mobile services they are going their own way.
Yes. See what my example that is at RCA, people from middle or maybe lower class people, they are coming to RCA level. But the people in high class, right, they expect RCA mobile apps to come to their home for whatever the medical needs that they need to have, right? That is catering to different customers based on the different social class that people are in. But if we also are from that high social class, we also would have been following the same nature. First, we would have been following the same behavior like that. Yes, anything else? Any other example? I told you when we are discussing these examples, only you will keep these things in your mind. Otherwise, you will forget these things. Yes. Anything else? Common opinion. Yes, yes. Is that best example? Yes. Yes. Sorry. Yes. Fall town. This is I don't know. Samsung. Ah, okay. Ah, okay. Before bus. What is it like culture? I don't get that. Yes, what's your example? An example you need pro. Yes, this something I need to read. Don't worry, please. Yeah, that. Tomato. Ah, yes. How is it? Ah, you mean cigarettes? Ah, yes, maybe. Now with this economic condition, right? They provide the smallest one for 150 or something. 100. Right? Is it 100, 150? I got 100, 100. Right. Then what is the normal size one? Is it 170? 160? Because we don't want to consume to know the prices. Because we need to be alert on the market. Now see the different types of alcohol brands in the market, but we don't want to consume everything. But we need to know the prices because we don't know in case we have to purchase, right? Then we have to be alert. Yes, anything else? Any other example? Do you have? Fine. Okay, then I will go for the next one. Right. So this is the explanation that I did. Culture is a set of basic values, perception, bonds, behaviors learned by a member of society from family and other important institutions. We sometimes may be learning our culture maybe from our family, right? But what our parents are practicing, what our parents are following. That's why we are also following these religious activities. Otherwise, we may not have, right? Because our parents are doing, maybe because our parents are forcing us to do, we might be doing those. And maybe from our school, maybe from our education institute, we might be learning different cultural practices. Right? See this subculture. Sinhala Buddhists, they might be following one different way. At the same time, Sinhala Buddhist people might be following all the cultural practices. They might be following like Canadian methods, Western methods, traditional methods, Hindu, I don't like different methods they might be following. But when it comes to a Tamil Muslim, do they also follow different methods or do they restrict or do they follow their own ones only when it comes to weddings? How is it? Yes. So we don't want to get married to know that one. Yes. They might be having different practices. In subculture, I told you, maybe a part or different parts in the main culture. Each culture contains smaller subcultures or groups of people with shared value system based on common life experiences and situations. Maybe in different nationalities could be a one subculture, as I told you. Or maybe different religious group, Buddhist could be a one subculture. Even as Buddhist in Colombo, Buddhist in Kenti, Buddhist in Mother may be having different practices. Even for the Hindus, the same thing is applied. And for the Muslims as well, the same thing is applied. They might be having different practices. But in the Muslims, even the Muslims in different regions might be having different practices. Right? I will tell you another example. This is a Buddhist example, right? So you also might know when we have these funerals, right? Normally, these Buddhist people they keep their dead body maybe 2 to 3 days, or some people like keep it only for 1 day at their home, maybe for the final rites, right? And when we are like keeping that dead body, so we normally need to give refreshment for the people who are coming there. In some areas, at the same at their home where the funeral is having, the food is offered. But in other areas, the food is not offered at the same home. Sometimes the food might be offered by the neighbors or might be at the neighbors' places, right? That is depending on the area or the geographical region where we are. So it might be same with the Muslims in the as well. So when it comes to Muslims, they keep it only for 1 day. Is it 1 day? How is it when it comes to Hindus or Tamil people? Do they keep it 1 day, 2 day? I don't know. 2 days. Maximum 2 days. No 2 days, right? So that is the subcultural practices. Then the social class. This is what I explained. This is relatively permanent. The social class I told you it can be based on our occupation, education, or maybe our wealth, right? Maybe from different factors. But this is relatively permanent, right? Which means one who is in a upper social class might be like maintaining it for a long period of time. Let's say like yesterday we were in upper social class and today we won't be going to the lower social class. It can happen, but it's very rare. Right? If he lose everything, right, all the money he has, he might be going for the lower income level. But that is something very rare. Other than that, we normally maintain a permanent level in these social classes, right? And the people in the same social class all over the average have the same values or interest or the behaviors, right? Like the subcultural groups. And this social class is not determined by the single factor. It sometimes may not be determined by a single factor like income, occupation, or the education. It might be a combination of those, right? And this social class, the people in these different social classes are most probably trying to go for the upper social classes, which means the people in lower social class is always trying to go for either middle or upper social class. People in the middle social class are trying to go for the upper social class. They are not trying to go for the lower social class. Do they? Do we want to be poor? Do we want to follow like a luxury lifestyle to an ordinary lifestyle? Do we want? No, we don't want. Normally, the people look for going to upper social class. That is the normal thing. But there can be some instances where people are purposefully planning to go for lower social class. What are those instances? What would be those situations? There can be some situations. People purposefully plan to go for lower social class. Maybe purposefully they are planning to reduce their consumption patterns, change their consumption patterns. This, what are those situations? What are those instances? මොනවගේ වෙලාවල් වලද things ටිකක් උඩ social class එකේ ඉන්න යට social class එකට යනවා. Here also there may be people. Sorry? Politicians, no, that is something like activism. No, I'm not like talking about that one. Here also there may be people, not now. Let's say like when we get aged, when we get old, right? Maybe people are looking for more religious life, right? Or maybe they are concerning this concerning about this environment or concerning about other people. They might be donating the money they have. So step by step, they might be using their income level or the economic level, and they might be shifting to a middle or lower social class. Right? That is something which can happen purposefully. We purposefully need to donate our money for the others, which means at the end of the day, we will lose the money we have. Whereas the people who are concerned on spiritual life, right? So they may not be going towards huge consumption patterns, right? They just need to consume what they want on. They may not be concerned on branded items, right? Or maybe some premium level products, right? Luxury goods, they may not be considering. They may be considering what they want to eat just to live, rather than concerning on some delicious or luxury items to have. Right? So those are situations where people are purposefully deciding to go for lower social classes. So other than that, people normally are trying to go for upper social class, right? From lower social class to upper social class, we always try to go for. That's why we are learning, we are trying to earning more. That's why we are trying to acquiring more, right? That is to maintain or increase our social class, right? So that is how these cultural factors can affect, right? This is like one example, halal cosmetics. In Islam, the concept of halal refers to things permissible according to Islamic law. This extends to cosmetics as well. And Muslims following halal guidelines might seek out cosmetics that are free of animal-derived ingredients, right? And alcohol, and they might also prioritize cruelty-free products that haven't been tested on animals, right? It could be one thing that Muslim people or Islam people are comfortable. In Muslims here, I don't know. Is it? Is before you do? Then you might not got this patient. Is this correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. Then the next one, the next main factor which affect for the consumption patterns is the social factors. Now we discussed those cultural factors, the culture, subculture, and social class. Now the social factors which might affect on our consumption patterns, right? So under the social factors, again we have three main factors: the groups, family, roles, and status. So the groups, the two or more people who interact to accomplish individual or mutual goals. We can have different groups, right? So maybe membership groups, the groups that have a direct influence and to which a person belongs. Let's say Lions Club, membership groups. We have different societies, right? So maybe different hobbies we have. That is again depending on the school. What they do can differ. Depending on the class of the school, what they do can differ. Right? Or the reference groups, the groups that have a direct or indirect points of comparison or reference in forming a person's attributes of behavior. Let's say we are working at a multinational organization where rich people are there. So we also might be having a direct impact from those peers. Right? Maybe for what we are wearing, what we are consuming, right? What we are using, what we are drinking, for everything, our reference groups might be impacted. Right? That is to match with what they do, or else that is to match with whom we are associating. Right? And aspirational groups, the group and individual wishes to belong. Sometimes we have an idea or we have an intention to belong to a particular group. Let's say we are not in a Lions Club, right? We are not belonging to a Lions Club, or else we are not a Lions Club members, right? But we need to be belonging to the Lions Club. So that we sometimes might be trying to join those, and we might be trying to voluntarily support them, and we might be trying to consume what those people are trying, what those people are consuming, right? That is the aspirational group. We have a wish, we have plan, we have intention to join some of the groups in the society. That's why we have different like these when it comes to these motorizers or motor cars, we have different sets of people and their consumption patterns are different. Right? What they consume, right? I belong to those. So what they consume sometimes and where they go, where they have meetups can differ. Can differ. So people might be having different consumption patterns according to the people whom they are associating. Right? So that is how these groups can affect on our consumption patterns. Sometimes when we are like in university, what we are consuming can be decided mainly by the people in our universities, or maybe based on whom we are associating with, it will decide what we are consuming. But when we are going for the job market, what we are consuming can totally be different from what we were consuming at the university. Then what we are consuming will be aligned with our corporate colleagues, right? Then the next one is about this is all right. This is again an example: online beauty communities, right? That is based on whom we are associating or whom we know in online platforms. We might be doing our consumption patterns, right? Or maybe depending on the different social media groups we have joined, right? Or the people on social media pages that we are following will influence us, but we should consume. And then the next one is the family members, right? Family members can also strongly influence buyer behavior, and family is the most important consumer buying organization in society, right? The family members can have a direct impact, right? Because they are the closest one for us as individual consumers. And especially in our childhood, what we should consume, how we should consume, is being influenced by our family members, or mainly our parents, or mainly our close family members, right? And these family members are playing different buying roles, and they exert different influence on the purchase of different products and services. Sometimes husband has different influence on what they should buy on their family. Let's say as an example, if it is an electric item, a motor vehicle, right? And if it is something about the complex product that the family needs to have, then husband might be the main person who knows everything, right? He might be getting information from his friends or from the experts he knows, right? But if it is something about, uh, if it is an item for the kitchen, or maybe a food item, or maybe a furniture, right? Furniture could be more towards a mixed, right, decision making, right? But if it is kitchen, it will totally depend on wife or the mother or the female parties in the family. That is how these things have been happening even in the past and even in the present. The same will be practiced, right? Normally, these let's say that is a detergent powder. So to promote a detergent powder, the companies are not like targeting the males more towards. They mainly target females to promote the detergent powder. That is because the washing and everything is, we believe that that is belonging to the females in the families. Right? That is how it has happened. Right? And even the recommendations, your mom prays about a particular brand she has used for years, mentioning it keeps her skin hydrated and youthful, and this positive experience from someone you trust sparks your interest. Let's say when we uh, when we start schooling and when we start going for the higher studies, right? So I told you our initial contact point would be our family members, right? So if our parents are recommending something, sometimes it would be the brand that we are also trying first. And we might change it once we get exposed to the other people in the society only. And if we get exposed to other people in the society, we might be consuming what our parents have recommended us, or else have promoted us. Right? And even the shared routines, you observe your older sister applying a certain face mask every week, and you might ask her about the product and consider incorporating it into your own routine as well. These things might be possible. If you have elder sisters, or and if you have males, if you have brothers, elder brothers, so we might be trying to follow what they are consuming right now. If you do not have access to the information, right? And even these beauty values, and especially these beauty of the cosmetic items, cosmetic things that will mainly be firstly influenced by our family members, right? Then only, or else only we only after we get exposed to the society or our corporate people or the other communities, only we will change the different brands or the products that we are consuming. That is the nature of us as individuals in the marketplace. Then the final one of these social factors, the roles and status. We discussed the groups, family, and the roles and status. The role activities people are expected to perform according to the people around them, right? If If you are in managerial level, we might be consuming the products that managers are normally consuming, right? Right? If you are like in a top class place, or if you are in a different category like lawyers, doctors, right? Different group of people, then they might be consuming the same types of products, right? And the status insurance carries a status reflects the general esteem given to each person. Because the society believes that if there is a doctor, they should have a car. Right? That is how the society believes. That is how the society accepts. If a doctor is coming by a bike, then people will not be caring, or people will not be trying to go for that doctor, though is the best one in the country. That is how we have our mindset has been developed. That is how we see the things. So we believe that if there is a doctor, they should have a car and they should come by a car. Right? If they are like doing let's say a recognized job, right? They should have a car. Right? That is how our mindset has been. That is how we behave in the marketplace, and according to that belief, so these people also are trying to show their status or their roles through the different products or the items that they are consuming. But it might be a good market opportunity for the people to have. That is why when these new doctors are coming to the market, right? So some companies are there to promote special products for them, like motor vehicles, apartments. Especially those companies are targeting the new doctors who are coming to this job market, because they know that since these are new people, they might be trying to purchase these items at first, but to showcase their status or to showcase their role that they are doing as their job, right? That is how the things have been. How is with the accountants? Do they have different products that they consume? And especially if there is a lawyer, again, people feel that they need to have a car, right? And if there's a school teacher, then people believe that there's female parties need to wear sari. That is how the society has been. How is it? And let's say like, if it is a lecturer from arts or the music, people believe that that's okay for them to grow their hair, grow their beard. But if it is a lecturer from any other faculty or maybe medical, management, IT, people do not see, like, do not expect those lecturers to grow their hair or the beard. That is something that we are experiencing, right? That is the nature of this society. That is how this society accepts the people. So according to society's acceptance, people do different changes in their consumption patterns. Sometimes though people really need some consumption patterns, they will not follow it since it is not aligned with their role and the status that they have maintained. Right? Is anything, any example that you have about those roles and status? Yes. Yes. Do you understand what I was explaining? How these roles and status? Have you ever felt that these things are really affecting for our consumption patterns? Have you ever felt it? Have you made your consumption patterns according to your roles or your social classes, your groups? Have you ever made your consumption patterns according to what we have discussed so far? Maybe you intentionally haven't done it, but if we explore your actual story or the real story behind your consumption patterns, these factors must have influenced you. Yes or no? These factors, have they really influenced you or not? but we don't feel it. That we are following those trends in the society. Sometimes we might be following different trends in the society, but we are we are not doing those things intentionally. But if we explore the story behind those, we might understand that we are following these things to match with the society's expectations sometimes. But okay, let's see whether we have time to go for the next. Okay, these beauty influencers, you can go through those. And the personal factors I will discuss in next week. Now we have discussed so far the different factors affecting on the consumers' buying decisions, the cultural, social, personal, and psychological. And we have covered two factors: the cultural factors and the social factors. Under the culture, we discussed the culture, subculture, and the social class. And under the social factors, we discussed the reference group, family, and the roles and status, right? And these session is, I told you, very much practical, and this will be like highly questionable area at the exam as well. There will be like a few questions from this session, and so then better to go through these examples I have discussed with you, and better to have some new examples with you in your mind, so that it will be easy for you to keep these things in your mind rather than just going through these definitions. Because I know that keeping these definitions in your mind is not practical and it will not work for you, right? If this is to work for you, you should have an idea of examples related to these different things we have discussed so far. Right? Okay, then with that I'll be winding up today's session, and we'll meet on next week hopefully. And with this, I will finish these two factors, and we'll discuss another important process. I told you in the black box or something where we cannot see how consumers are making decisions, right? So that is also one of the most important part of this session, right? I will finish that one. It's right? Okay, then with that, we can wind up the session.